Épisode improvisé, les guys. On a eu Jerrell Webster, backflipper professionnel, gérant ici à Highland. Et quoi d'autre?
C'est un pro, je pense. Là.
Ouais, pour vrai. C'était pas ça le plan du départ, mais finalement, le résultat est impeccable. Écoutez-nous, Part de la podcast.
Hey, ça fait combien de temps qu'il fait du bike, le gars?
3 ans.
Yeah!
Salut les riders, Lap 6, émission spéciale en direct de Highland. Oui, on vient de passer le week-end, drôle de week-end, parce qu'on est parti le dimanche, on est aujourd'hui mardi, ça fait 2 jours qu'on roule ici, il est 4 heures, on vient de finir, on est stoked. En plus, oui, Bob, il est là. Right?
Il est pas là encore.
Il est parti chercher de la bière. Il est là. Monsieur ici est là.
Monsieur le producteur est présent.
Mais Bob, là, on dit qu'il est là, mais c'est pas vérifié encore, là.
Non.
T'sais, ça se peut qu'il soit pas là. On pense qu'il est là, mais on verra.
Vous allez voir comment Bob il est serviable.
Mais il est où,
Dans à peu
Gertin?
près 30 secondes.
Gertin, il y avait des petits empêchements familiales.
Il s'en mord les doigts parce qu'on l'appelle à chaque jour. Il aurait vraiment aimé être là.
Hey, regardez qui arrive.
Le retour du Bob d'Amérique. Comment ça va, Bob?
Ça va, vous autres?
Hey, on va te micer, Bob.
Lap 6, les riders.
Tiens, mon Bob. Ça, tu te souviens, tu te mets ça après. Ouais, ça c'est là-dedans que tu vas. Non, ça, c'est l'autre, ça, c'est pour les soirées. Mais pour le jour, c'est sur le bord du col.
Bienvenue, Bob.
Merci.
Émission
Assieds-toi.
spéciale. Restez là. On va avoir un invité.
Ça se peut que vous comprenez rien si vous parlez pas anglais.
Mais il paraît que Jace va traduire.
Ah, c'est ça.
Ouais,
Ah ouais?
c'est correct. Ouais.
Sinon,
faire ça.
ChatGPT va traduire.
Ouais, au pire.
All right.
Fait que pour ceux qui sont venus souvent, ceux qui regardent des vidéos, il y en a un qui poste toujours. Il travaille ici. Il a une histoire vraiment intéressante. On l'a invité avec nous autres. Il s'en vient. Son nom, je le prononce pas super bien.
C'est Jerrell Webster.
Jarrell Webster.
Jerrell Webster.
Ouais, il y a un compte Instagram assez intéressant. Là. Ce qu'il fait, c'est assez cool.
Déjà que c'est gros ici, mais lui, c'est jamais assez gros. Puis en plus, sur les features gros,
Il rajoute un petit flip.
flip, vous l'avez
Tail whip.
Tail whip.
vous l'avez pogné hier, il l'a fait devant vous.
Ouais, direct. Le premier jump de Alien, il l'a flippé devant nous autres. C'était assez hot.
Puis c'est pas un petit jump. On s'entend, là, c'est pas un petit jump.
Non,
Il
c'est un gros tabletop.
Ouais. Fait qu'on va l'avoir comme invité.
Hey, moi, Jace, là, pourquoi est-ce qu'on est à Highland? Explique-moi, ça part d'où, cette histoire-là? Parce que.
Je pense que c'est peut-être ta fête. C'est à cause de ça.
Hey, non, c'était pas pour ça. C'est l'année passée.
vrai
Vous
que c'est
m'avez
ta
pas
fête.
invité. C'était ma fête, pareil.
C'est vrai. Pourquoi, Bob, on vient tout le temps ici en début d'année?
Pour moi, ça fait une couple ça fait 2 ans c'est notre troisième année qu'on
ouais.
loue un chalet entre amis. C'est jamais la même gang, mais toujours dans une communauté raw bike. Puis c'est ça. Cette année, c'était ceux qui étaient disponibles sont ici. On était quoi? Combien?
On est
16
16
personnes?
Ben, c'est à location, on est 8. Mais officiellement, on est 16.
Moi, j'ai dormi dans mon char. On a des vidéos.
On a reçu quand même quelques messages de Airbnb, comme quoi que c'était pas legit. Mais
on a
Ils
plusieurs
doutaient de
histoires.
notre 8. Là.
Ouais.
Mais pour vrai, tantôt, on en reparlera du spot. Mais quel spot, quand même, on a
Quel
trouvé. Là.
spot
C'est pour
incroyable.
le monde qui veut venir à Highland, je pense que c'est le meilleur
Ouais.
spot.
Mais normalement, l'année passée, je suis venu pour la première fois. On était un plus petit groupe, mais normalement, on dort beaucoup plus loin.
Oui.
Trouver de l'hébergement ici à Highland, à Northfield,
Northfield ou Tilton, qui est comme juste à côté, c'est vraiment difficile, à moins de prendre une chambre d'hôtel. C'est difficile de trouver un hébergement pour autant de personnes. Vous le 2 ans, on était à Franklin, je crois, c'est le petit village à côté, à 30 minutes. L'année passée, j'ignore où ce qu'on était, mais on était aussi à 30 minutes.
Ouais.
Et là, on a trouvé un spot à 7 minutes de la
Incroyable.
on peut le nommer. On peut peut-être mettre le lien Airbnb.
Ouais, on mettra le lien dans la description, le lien Airbnb de la place, mais c'est sûr.
Ça s'appelait
Shaker Road.
Shaker Road.
Shaker Road. Mais
The Shaker. Il me semble que c'était The Shaker. Ah, non?
Shaker House, je pense.
Ouais, je pense
En tout cas,
que
le
c'est
mot de
ça, non?
passe du Wi-Fi, c'était Shaker Time. Si jamais,
Shaker time.
si jamais vous cherchez du Wi-Fi pas loin.
C'est à 7 minutes. Puis pourquoi qu'on vient à Highland? Pour vrai, là.
On vient à Highland parce que Highland, ça fait... La raison de base pourquoi on a loué le chalet il y a 2 ans, c'est que Highland, c'est un des montagnes avec une chaise qui ouvre en premier. Il ouvre avant Killington, il ouvre avant pas mal toutes les autres, toutes les montagnes au Québec, il ouvre avant eux. C'est pour ça qu'on vient à Highland. Je pense que c'est à la base.
Il y a aussi le fait que Highland, regarde, je sais pas si vous voyez l'image, là, mais il y a des jumps en arrière. Il y en a pour tous les niveaux.
Highland, c'est une petite montagne bien rentabilisée.
Ouais.
C'est incroyable. On en parlait dans la chaise tantôt. Qu'est-ce que t'as mieux, Killington, Highland? Les deux, ils ont les pour puis les contre, mais Highland, c'est rentabilisé, ça n'a pas de bon sens. Puis là, en ce moment, c'est pas tous les sentiers qui sont ouverts, mais il y a de tout pour tout le monde.
Vraiment.
On a roulé aujourd'hui avec nos amis qui viennent de commencer à faire du vélo. Ils ont trouvé leur compte. Puis Jake a fait Power Hour, les plus gros jumps que j'ai vus depuis un bout.
Moi aussi.
Il y en a pour vraiment tout le monde.
Sur le freeze frame de sa face, quand il est dans les airs, d'après moi, lui-ci, il trouvait que c'était plus gros que d'habitude. Mais même, il y a des filles qui ont unlocké des drops, il y a du monde qui ont vraiment
Tu peux venir en famille.
progressé.
En ligne ici. Là,
les enfants, tout le monde.
Du temps qu'ils ont mis, le temps qu'ils ont mis dans les pistes, autant les vertes, flowy. La terre, je sais pas où ce qu'ils apprennent, mais pour
la terre est vraiment belle. La montagne est bien bâtie. Ça paraît que les builders ici, c'est des gens qui savent builder des sentiers.
Ouais. Puis ce qui est vraiment cool, la montagne, c'est que nous autres, on est arrivés dimanche. Il y a eu une grosse averse, il a mouillé. On arrive ici, là, il y a à peu près aucun trou d'eau dans toutes les trails. Ça draine, là, le sol, les trails, tout est bien bâti, puis le sol, il draine. Il
y a 2 ans, on est venu avec Alex, notre premier chalet, il y a 2 ans, avec Alex. Et je me souviens, on était dans la chaise, on roulait, on était un petit groupe à ce moment-là, moi, toi, ta mère, puis ma tante Edith. On a roulé, on s'est fait prendre par un déluge dans la chaise en montant. C'était pas plaisant. On est arrivé en haut, on s'était même pas parlé de qui s'en allait où. On s'est tous splittés chacun dans un sentier différent. On est arrivé en bas. Il a mouillé 20 minutes à boire de bout.
Ah ouais.
Mais eux autres, la montagne ici ferme juste pour des orages.
Les orages.
Ils vont pas fermer juste pour la pluie. Je pense qu'il y avait des orages à ce moment-là. 30 minutes d'attente, ils ont réouvert les chaises. On retourne en haut, puis toutes les trails étaient roulables.
C'était fou, Ren.
Ah, c'est fou.
Autant
il y avait pas
de roches.
de trou d'eau, c'est ça. Oui, la terre était un petit peu humide, mais c'était pas glissant. C'est fou, Ren. C'est vraiment...
Ouais, puis tu sais, moi, mettons, je sais pas, comme vous me connaissez, je suis pas quelqu'un qui aime pédaler. C'est correct qu'il y ait des pédales sur un bicycle, mais mettons, pour monter, j'aime beaucoup les chaises. Puis les montagnes de chaises, la plupart du temps, les sentiers sont gonnés. Il y a plein de break bumps partout. Puis tu rentres dans un burn, c'est tough. Ici, c'est super smooth, pour vrai. Puis tu vois que ça va tenir. Là. Ça sera, c'est sûr qu'à la fin de la saison, j'imagine que c'est un peu moins beau. Là. Mais tu vois que ça va tenir parce que tabarouette, écoute, c'est slick. Ça me fait penser à beaucoup à la Highline à Whisk qu'on n'arrêtait pas de vanter. Mais les sentiers ici ressemblent à ça. C'est plus petit, mais ça ressemble à ça quand même. Là.
À la défense des réseaux, peut-être au Québec, c'est qu'ici, le gros avantage, pourquoi que la montagne est exploitée de cette façon, il n'y a pas de ski en hiver. Fait qu'il y a des pistes partout.
100%.
Le défi des montagnes au Québec, c'est qu'ils ont du ski. Donc, tu peux pas faire une piste en pleine allée parce que ça...
Avec les dameuses,
ça les gêne. Fait que ici, c'est chaque morceau de terre, il y a
chaque pied cube est rentabilisé.
C'est
fou.
Mais est-ce que c'est l'histoire de la montagne? Est-ce que ça a toujours été le même ou il y a déjà eu du ski?
Il y a déjà eu du ski.
Sûrement.
Ça a commencé
depuis
plusieurs années. On va demander.
On va pouvoir en parler avec Jerrell.
OK, parfait. Puis nécessairement, j'aimerais ça, les gars, vous me parliez un peu de la première soirée, parce que c'était tranquille quand même.
Là, ça, c'est un bon point. Là, on fait un podcast, on est comme brûlés raides.
On est
On n'a pas parlé des partenaires.
J'ai l'impression
qu'on commence avec ça.
On commence ça officiel.
On commence officiel.
Les partenaires.
On veut remercier les partenaires avec nous autres qui sont avec nous en ligne.
Il va peut-être falloir couper ça et mettre ça au début, mais en tout cas...
Écoute,
c'est correct.
avec la folie du montage.
Parfait. Verso, microbrasserie. Là, c'est pas ça qu'on boit en ce moment. On va en parler de ce qu'on boit. On le dit-tu?
Oui, on peut partir.
À chaque fois qu'on vient ici...
Comment on vient de partir? OK, on parle des partenaires. On parle-tu de la bière qu'on est en train de boire, les boys?
C'est pas Sunshine. À chaque fois qu'on vient ici, 8
C'est mon coup de cœur de bière.
7,3.
Si vous allez au Vermont acheter la Simple Sunshine, vous...
Elle est forte, mais on va au travers. Je la digère très bien.
Ça, t'es correct, Jason. Dans le fond, tu peux boire ça. Là.
Parfait. Ski Bike Lab, toujours avec nous. Rag, qui ont fait les casquettes qu'on a à vendre.
3 modèles de casquettes à vendre.
Ouais.
Super, on va mettre ça sur nos réseaux.
Exact.
Comment on les achète, les boys?
On texte Bob, apparemment.
Ouais. Texte Bob.
Non, mais c'est la dernière fois, on a dit, OK, on va mettre ça en vente. Quand on va être en événement, 1992, on n'a pas de e-com, nous autres. On n'est pas capable de vendre ça sur un site web.
Écrivez à Bob, il va vous arranger.
Il vous mal ça après, là. Ça s'en vient.
Et Panache Rack, encore toujours avec nous. Fait que, énorme merci aux partenaires.
Est-ce que tu as pris le panache rack pour venir ici, Jason?
Non, je suis venu tout seul.
Oui, exact. Ça a-tu bien été sans le panache rack, Jason?
Tu sais, on parlait de rack, comment il n'y avait aucun rack de parfait. Pourquoi
C'est drôle, hein? Ça arrive tout le temps à toi.
Non, mais c'est sûr que ça arrive à d'autres. C'est juste que moi, je le filme, puis j'en
Je
parle.
pensais que c'était le coup de cabochon, celle-là. Là.
On peut le garder pour le coup de cabochon. On peut le garder pour le coup de cabochon, on en a
On
plein.
regarde le coup de cabochon
OK.
pour
OK.
continuer
J'ai
d'écouter.
encore
ça
perdu
va.
un bicycle.
Donc, bref, la prochaine fois, tu vas venir avec le panache rack, même à un bike, je pense. Là.
Ah, ça n'a pas de sens. Bon, excellent. OK. Est-ce qu'on va chercher notre invité?
Je pense que ça serait le temps, là.
Parfait. Fait qu'on coupe ça, puis on revient avec Jerrell.
Jarrell.
Jarrell. C'est pas Jarrell. C'est pas le gars qui faisait dans
Non,
le temps.
c'est pas ça.
C'est quoi la tune de Jarrell, là?
On va lui demander c'est quoi son Instagram. Parce que
On l'a
Je les
cherché, hein?
suis.
Hey, mais Jarrell, c'est pas le gars qui avait investi dans le Fire?
Stop. Veux-tu?
OK, on revient avec Jarrell.
Bye.
So, honestly, we didn't expect to run into you. I thought about sending you a message on Instagram to say like, hey, we're going to be in Highland on Monday, Tuesday. Do you want to do this? I kind of got shy about it, and then we saw you earlier. Jason's not shy, so he said, I'll go talk to him.
You didn't expect to see me here. I'm here every day.
I knew it's
Right. Every time I come here.
I
If I'm
didn't.
not working, I'm working here 5 days, man. The other 2 days, of course,
You're
I'm
riding?
riding, man.
So I was just a little bit maybe shy to send you a direct message. Yeah, you know, we wanted to do a podcast here because our thing is now when we go places back home in Quebec or anywhere, we're going to
Yeah.
Whistler in August again. We just want to set up and just talk about that mountain.
Yeah.
So we thought you would be, because we follow you on Instagram and we know who you are.
Yeah.
And we thought maybe a little interview with you would be cool. So that's it. We're not prepared. We don't have any questions. So I guess it's just like.
It's like,
What do you like? How did you get here, and what do you do now? What's your role with the mountain and your bike stuff?
how did it start?
How did it start? When did it start? Yeah, I mean, yeah, my story is a little weird, man. I started riding August 2021. Is when
really?
I started
That
riding.
late?
Yeah, so it'll be 3 years this August, you know, so it's still in 2-year mark. Yeah, I started riding at 23. I'm 26 now. Basically, you know, straight junior year of high school in the States, you know, we have junior, senior year.
Yeah.
You know, junior year of high school on, and I was working 50 plus hours a week in the summertime, and then straight out of high school, you know, I was working 60 hours a week.
Here?
Water,
At
no,
the- no,
as a water filtration technician.
Okay.
And I just kind of lost track of who I was. Like I did that for like 7 years, man. Just like lost track of like what it is I like to do. I was just working so much, then getting out so late, going in so early. You know, up here it gets dark. You know, it gets dark at 4:30 at certain times of the year, and you're getting out at 7:30, and you're going in, and it's dark at 5:30. Like it you know, takes a toll on you. So it's funny that I actually got back into fishing before biking. So I just kind of thought back to like what I used to do as a kid, what made me happy as a kid. Try to bring it back down to like the basics and the simple things in life, and I was like, you know, I like to fish. That's right. So I went back to a fishing hole that like I grew up fishing at.
Always in the States, right?
Yeah, always in the States. But I did do a lot of fishing when I went up to Canada to go visit family. So, you know, I have family in New Brunswick, Canada.
Okay.
I got an uncle in Vancouver, one in Toronto, but, you know, all the family is in New Brunswick. You know, Moncton area, Moncton, Shediac, Capillet. You know, they owned a big like campground there on the beach called Sandy Beach in Capillet. So, you know, I grew up going there. My grandfather would take me to like Prince Edward Island. You know, we go fishing for steelhead and salmon and stuff. But, you know, down here is primarily bass fishing. So I went to my old bass hole that I hadn't been to. I was like 13 the last time I went there. So at the time, you know, it was about 9 years ago or so. And I was fishing all day or all night. You know, I got out at like 6:30, 7, so it was dark like 30 minutes after I got there, but I said, screw it. You know, I told myself I got to get out here and do this. So I was fishing and it started raining, and I was like, all right, man, you know, cold, dark, and rainy. I was like, all right, let me just take one more. took one more cast and caught a big 5-pounder, and it like woke me up. I was like, whoa, like, you know, this is like, okay. So I got on a fishing kick for, you know, a solid year. I was just doing that every day after work till like midnight, you know, going to work next day like 5, 6. But like that was what was keeping me like wanting to work, you know. But then I got to a point I was like, okay, this is cool, but like I miss being like the active me, you know. I was always like an athlete. You know, I was, again, you know, different terminology here, but I was like all state football, basketball, track, baseball, you know, so just like top 20 or whatever for like all the sports I played. And you know, so I was always an athlete, but I always gravitated towards action sports. So like unfortunately in high school, because I got so serious with the organized sports, the action sports kind of had to get put on the back burner. So I was actually a professional downhill skateboarder. You know, I did this like my sophomore year. 364 days after I got my first longboard, I won a longest stand-up slide competition, and I ended up picking like 2 sponsors up there, and I did that, you know, for another like year after. But then I ended up quitting while I was up. You know, I had a couple of times where I went off. You know, went off the road. And
it's pretty crazy stuff.
Yeah, it's, you know, that's the thing. So, you know, that was really what I think made me excel in this, is I came from where I was passing cars. You know, it was 30-mile-an-hour zones, and I was going 55. I was getting speeding tickets. I got speeding tickets on my skateboard. And, you know, I was passing cars and stuff on my skateboard. But, you know, and I did free ride, so I was kicking it sideways at 50 miles an hour, doing toe side slides. And, you know, I had a couple of close calls. I had one where I was, you know, in a toe side slide, so my back was facing downhill, you know, at about 45 miles an hour. Wheels hooked up almost immediately and just pitched me straight off the side of the road. You know, I flew about 40 feet and hit a tree back first. And, you know, thank goodness it was the one dead tree in the area. You know, it snapped. And it was a thick tree, you know, solid like 10 inches in diameter. And it snapped, and it fell right next to me, you know, and I was kind of like an eye opener. I was like, whoa, you know, I would not be riding anymore, you know, if it was for that tree being alive, you know. So that was kind of an eye opener. And
mountain bike, it's safer anyway.
Well, that's the thing, right? So, you know, so shortly after, I was like, you know, I quit while I was up. You know, the action sports were kind of getting crazy, and I was getting, you know, I was elevating my skills with sports. I was looking to play like at a higher level and stuff, or with organized sports. Because like I got to stop, you know. So I quit while I was up. And then played some action sports that ended up, you know, not going and playing at schools like I thought I was going to, and ended up becoming a, you know, professional in water filtration, and did that instead. But again, you know, as I said, that kind of just, I lost who I was doing that. And then I was like, oh, dude, you know, found the fishing. Nah, I want to do things I used to do. I was like, I used to ride a bike up until like 12. Like, you know, I didn't really ever get into it. I wasn't doing anything crazy, but, you know, I rode a bike all the time, scooter and stuff, like in my yard, you know. Parents couldn't really bring me to skate parks and stuff much. You know, I went a handful of times, but not much. Never really mountain biked. You know, I had a mountain bike, Walmart mountain bike, and I did wheelies and stuff like that, and I could ride with no hands. And that was about the extent of it. But yeah, you know, I was like, I want to ride bikes again, but I stopped riding BMX, like A, because it was a little dangerous at the time, and B, it was just too small. You know, I was like 6 foot, 6'1" in like 8th grade, you know, and I just grew out of my like 20.5 BMX bike, and it was just uncomfortable, and I was just like, yeah, I'm done with it. So I was like, I want to try riding bikes again, but like I live in the mountains, like maybe I get a mountain bike.
Where's that, in the mountains?
Just up here, you know.
Okay, you live,
already lived here.
So I lived in, at the time, when I had got it, I lived like in Merrimack, so it's like 50 minutes away, you know. But, you know, we got elevation and stuff. It ain't Florida, where it's flat. Yeah. So I was like, you know, I should get a mountain bike. And then I found out about this place. I was like, you know, like maybe if I can find one for cheap, I get one. So I found one on Facebook Marketplace for $700. It was a 2012 Specialized Demo 8.
Oh, nice.
Completely blown suspension. The wheels were like wonky as can be, as many dents as you can possibly think of, you know. But again, you know, I didn't know any better, and I was like, it was still the nicest bike I had ever hopped. I never felt anything with like 10 inches plus of travel. Yeah. Like I was like, whoa, this is crazy. You know, so like just test riding around their yard, I was like jumping off their stair steps. I'm like, yep, I want it, you know. And I'll be honest, yeah, it was worth it. You know, it survived. Like, yeah, was it beat? Oh my gosh, yeah, bad. But you know, I still rode that thing until I didn't want to ride it anymore, and got rid of it, and it's still riding. Like somebody's still riding it to this day. But yeah, I started on 2012. I found it for $700. The thing was, I had bought it, and I came here one time I came here one time and like, I don't know, I think I bought it in like 2019. Came here like one time with the kid I had bought it off of. And that was it, you know, and then I hadn't ridden it. You know, I came the day after I bought it on like a Friday, came on like a Saturday with him. You know, I was riding with like, I literally bought it off like a 12-year-old and like his 10-year-old brother, and these kids are like ripping. You know, I couldn't keep up or anything, you know, but like I was trying. So I came one day and I loved it, you know, I was sick, but then I got back to work, and then work was just busy, man, and my body was just beat, and it was like an hour plus to come up here like after work, and I was working so many hours, I was on call, like it was just terrible. Like, you know, the situation was, again, like if I was up here and got called, like I had to go, you know, so it was just not worth it. So I just didn't ride it, you know, and it was like a couple years I didn't ride it, and that was when I got into the fishing, you know, and I started fishing again. And then I just got to a point where I was like, I can't do this anymore. And, you know, I was like, I got to find a new job. So I got a new job. And coming to find out, the day before my first day, my buddy sends me a Snapchat, and it's like these jumps and stuff. I'm like, dude, where is that? And he's like, oh, it's at Groundhog. And that's where I was going to work. It's called Groundhog Landscaping. It's like, it's at Groundhog. Like the owner's son rides mountain bikes pretty crazy. And I'm like, what? He's like, yeah, dude, like, I'll introduce you to him. I was like, dude, like, one of the reasons why I want a new job is, like, I want to try to use this bike I got, like, you know? He's like, oh, yeah, definitely, like, I'll introduce you. So I met him. His name's Parker. Shredder, dude. He rips here all the time, like, doing, like, heel clickers on, like, rollers and shit. Like, just crazy, stylish kid, and just so unique, like, just wild. He'll do big stuff, but like he specializes in like jibby techie stuff, and he'll do like can landers on like reef drop and just weird stuff, you know. But he had a cool setup, and he's like, yeah, bring your bike like the next day. And dude, like every day after work, I was riding with him. You know, I was working like 4 days a week there, so it was like 4 days, and then like 4 days, and then the next week he's like, dude, you know, I'm going to Highland on Thursday. You want to go? And I had Thursdays through Sunday off. I was like, yeah, let's go. So he brought me here.
We are around 2000.
So this is 2021.
2021.
Yeah. So this is like the beginning of August 2021 is when I like started working there, and like when I started riding this bike with Parker at his place. And then so like third week in August was when he brought me here for the first day, and it was a Thursday. You know, we started off on like cat's paw and stuff, you know, because he's like, you can skip freedom and stuff. I was riding his yard, and like, we'll get you on cats, you know. So like, I like couldn't hit all the features on cats like at the beginning, you know, but after like a couple laps, like I was hitting everything, clearing everything on cat's paw, and they were like, sick, you know, like let's take you over to Hellion. They're like, you can roll everything, you know, if you need. I was like, okay, cool. Like I'm still gonna try it. So I drop in, you know, and like case the first one, you know, and then like come into like the next few sections, and then like tried the gap one and just washed out straight to the side, face full of mud. Like I was like, shit, you know. But it like woke me up. I was like, all right, you know. But I like fell and got up. I was like, oh, I'm good. Like, okay, this is cool. Like let's try again. So I just kept going down. Fell again. Fell again the first lap. I was like, all right. But then I just started lapping that, and I was like, all right, I'm just gonna try to be able to clear this whole thing. And so I set that as a goal. And like after like 4 laps, 5 laps, like I was clearing the whole thing. You know, the last one was like the hardest part, you know, for me, and then I was getting it.
You mean the one that you backflip now?
Yeah, at first lap of the day, first lap of the season. Yeah, I backflip the last one every time now. It's like a tradition now.
That's nuts.
You know, but
that's like 3 years ago.
Well, this year actually was different. This year, nice. I hit it one time this year, and then I tail whipped it on my stump jumper Evo.
Oh, yeah.
Because I was like, you know what? Like this is a trick I have in the bag now. I kind of just got to rip the Band-Aid off and just like ride like I know how to. So this year I hit it one time actually to speed check it, and I was like, screw it. I'm gonna tail whip it, and then just tail whipped it, and it worked. I was like, shit.
So since the first day, you've been hooked, right?
Yeah. So well, basically the first day, you know, I got to like Hellion before lunch. By the end of the day, you know, they got me on like any style beeline and like bone saw, and like bone saw I was struggling on. Second day,
bone saw is pretty.
It's pretty gnar, you know. Second day though, like I was getting it. Like I was getting bone saw. That second drop though, not happening. You know, the second day it was not happening. You know, but then third day. So this was like Thursday, Friday. Then third day was Saturday. If you ever been here on a Saturday, it gets busy in the summertime, right? So what do people do? They like to session certain things, and they were all sessioning Tombstone. So Stepping Stone wasn't open. All right, so I'm watching all
that's
my.
like the baby,
That's the like 6-footer next to the 12-footer, which is Tombstone. So I'm watching all the boys hit Tombstone. And I'm just watching. I'm like, dude, I'm not just gonna watch. Like a drop's a drop, right? You know, and they're like, yeah. I'm like, I want to do it. They're like, you know, third day, like riding. They're like, dude. And I'm like, I think I got it. Like, what's the speed? I'm like, a drop's a drop. I think I got it. What's the speed? You know, and they show it to me. And again, I had never ridden mountain bikes like. Even when I was younger, so like I'd never hit berms and shit, so I didn't really know how to carry speed through berms. So like Tomb's got a little berm.
Yeah, true.
So like they showed me the speed, I'm like, sick, dude, I hit that berm and lost all my speed. I'm like, fuck.
Crank through.
Crank, pull like BMX, you know, because I used to ride it in my driveway, so I pulled like I used to in my driveway, you know, as hard as I could. Dude, 25 feet to flat, like, boom! Bottomed out my 650-pound coil instantly, like just ching. But I held on, you know, I got shucked in the tire, but I was fine. And I like looked back and I'm like, dude, that's way more chill than I thought. And they were like, dude, like everybody's freaking out. Like they're all like, they're like, I have never seen that ever, you know. And I was chilling. I was just like, oh, you know, I messed up. Now I know it's a little slower and it should be easy. If I hit the landing, it'll be like money, right? And you know, sure as shit, I hit it again, greased it, and then I just hit the jump right after. And they were all like, no, stop. They thought I wasn't gonna hit the jump, and I was like, no, dude, I got it. Like,
That's a pretty big double too.
dude, it's a pretty big double, like 30-foot double, dude. And I just like, so that's the thing. I had never hit a double in my life until 2 weeks before at Parker's place. Like, I know it was much smaller, but it was a double, and I had just never hit a double. Like, I had hit the little tables and stuff when I was a kid that I made and stuff, like, but I never hit a double, you know? So, like, Parker's was the first thing. This one was 2 or 3 times bigger, you know, but I was like, but I know, like, the speed is the speed. Like, it should work, right? So I just hit it like I knew, and when it worked, I greased it, and that was it. That was when I got hooked. So it was like my 3rd day coming here, I was like, whoa, like, these are what these bikes can do, and, like, I can ride them pretty well. And like people, and I didn't really realize it until like we kept lapping, and then they were like, dude, like we've never seen this before. And I was like, what do you mean? And like, dude, we've been riding for 8 years, dude. Like it took me 6 to hit Tombstone. I was like, really? I was like, I don't know, like, you know, but I think coming from longboarding, this was like at the beginning it was a joke, you know, like in my comparison of like the start of it, because like even when you're starting on a longboard, it's like you got to jump off, like if you don't know how to like slide and power slide and stop, you know. So like even just starting, like it was definitely less chill on a longboard. Where like here I was like, wait, you have suspension and brakes? Are you kidding?
That's a big
This is sick. You know, but it's like, again, everything's relative though, because then it's like once you get comfortable, then you just start pushing it more, and then it's like the risk becomes the same. It's just different. Right. You know, it's just different. But but yeah, I think that the longboarding was really the key to me coming into this, because it not only did it get me, you know, comfortable with like fear and trusting myself and trusting skills, but I knew how to fall. You know, that's the thing, is on a longboard, again, there's no, it's either you slide to stop or you don't get a chance to, and you have to fall, and you have to have a controlled fall, you know. So I've hit the pavement probably 300 plus times at 45 to 60 miles an hour, you know. So yeah, you know, I think coming into this sport with that background was really the key. You know, it makes everything to me like I'm like not really worried. You know, I'm just not worried about it. And then I was falling on asphalt, you know, not rock and dirt. You know, here it's again, you got rock, but you know, you got to mix the dirt. So it's like at least you can kind of like try to fall in the softer looking spot, where like pavement's pavement, man. And then, and of course, you know, you roll off the pavement and then you're into, you know, rocks and gravel or bush or thorn bushes, you know, just or car.
So
you know?
From that 3 days there, you moved around here. You decided to work?
So it was very short after. So basically, you know, I had ended up getting a job here a month after like my first time here, because you know, I came in late August. We closed in November. So I was like, great, I found something that like I love, and then I won't be able to do it for months. But I had heard, I was like, you know, they're like, yo, if you get a job here, you can ride here anytime, and you can ride the indoor facility all winter. They're like, it's not heated, but you can ride it all winter. I'm like, well,
they have an indoor here?
Yeah, the HCC, the Highland Training Center. Yeah, so it's a big white dome over there. Yeah, again, in the winter, you know, the employees can ride it. It's not heated, so it's rough, but you can ride. you know, because when there's 12 inches of snow on the ground, you're not really going too fast, you know. So that was appealing to me. So I was like, dude, let me see. I was like, can I work you like 1 day a week? And they're like, yeah, you know, you work 1 day a week, that's fine. That would help us out. Like, so I was like, all right, cool. I'll do Sundays. So I started doing Sundays here, and I was doing like Tuesday, you know, through Saturday over at the landscaping, and I just started working Sunday. I was doing like Tuesdays through Friday. So I had like riding day Saturday, and I was working Sunday. So I knew that like it would cut into my riding time a little bit, but it would give me so much more over the winter because I had no other option to ride. And so yeah, about a month after I got a job here as just a lifty, and just you know I loved it, and they ended up loving me. They're like, dude, we've just never had anybody come here fit into you know the job so well, but at the same time like the community and like you know Shell riding, like you know we were thinking about having a new position made, you know, assistant manager position for the lift. Would you be interested? You know, and I said yeah, but like it would have to be worth it, you know, because if I was going to work up here, I'm gonna have to move up here, you know, exactly. So I just have to be sustainable. So, you know, and they were like, okay, you know, we'll see. And then like the day after they gave me an offer, you know, again, you're working at a bike park, nothing crazy, but I was like, okay, you know, I'll have to see if I can figure it out. But the day after, my buddy Carter was like, hey, you know, my parents wanted to know, would you be interested in renting a room at, you know, our house up here? Because they don't stay up here. And I was like, dude, yeah, you know, and they told me the price. I was like, you're kidding. I'm like, dude, I just got a job offer for an assistant manager spot up here. Like, yesterday. I'm like, yeah, I'm in. You know, so right away I called back to like Highland. I was like, yeah, I'm going to take it. And they're like, sweet. You know, so I did that 22 and 23. So I moved up here in March 22. I moved like 12 minutes down the road in the Tilton, March 22. And I've been there since. And then, yeah, just this year, I just took the full-on management position for the lift department,
Yeah,
so the lift and the surface lift. So cool. Yeah, pretty sweet. You know, a lot more responsibility, but you know, at the same time, it's a stepping stone for me.
What's what's the story of the mountain? So at the beginning, it's a ski hill, right?
It was a ski hill for many years. I want to say their first year was 2008. It's not 12. One of the two. I always get mixed up. Of mountain biking. Okay. So Mark Hayes had purchased it, and they started off very, very raw. You know, their easiest trail, old style. Yeah, their easiest trail is like a black now. You know, or I think it's technically blue. I want to say it was Fancy Feast.
Maiden Voyage, I think it's...
Maiden Voyage is right there too. Yeah,
I think one of the first.
Yeah, one of the first trails as well. You know, so that was it. It was like
nothing machine made. It was all
no. It was handmade. I mean, there was a little bit, but it didn't look machine made in comparison to what's machine made now. Yeah. It didn't look machine made. They just used the machines to move the rocks that they couldn't, you know. It was raw and it was really sweet, man. Definitely was not super kid and progression friendly at first.
Because now it is.
Because now it is. You know, so now it has everything. We have the only slope style course that runs constantly and it's open to the public in North America. You know, lift accessed as well to, you know, 2 mile long flow trails with not much more than like a 6% grade on it, you know, very chill, very mellow.
You have a camp for kids too?
Yeah, we got camps. We have camps for adults too, not just kids. We have camps for adults as well. We just had the air camps like the last 2 or 3 weeks, and it's pretty insane to see the progression of them. And we had some dads and stuff in there who were learning backflips in the HCC. You know, it was
really?
Yeah, it caught me off guard. I was like, whoa, like this is crazy. It's cool to see it. It's incredible what this place has, because it has something for the person who's never ridden before. You know, you can do a find your ride package, like $150 gives you a rental on like a $4,000 bike, and you know, 1 hour lesson and a lift ticket. You know, it's a pretty killer deal, you know, it's not really a profitable deal, but it's good to get people into the sport. You know, and that's what it's for. And you know, so you've got that, but at the same time you've got this competition course that we can do double backflips on all day long, and you can just do whatever you want here. You know, that's the other cool thing is, like, you know, you sign that waiver and it's like go do you, man. You know, you wanna go do double flips, go do double flips.
There's not a lot of places.
That's the thing. There's not a lot of places that have jumps and lips like this because they're worried about liability and stuff. You know, and but here, you know, we've got that all figured out.
Us
and,
back
you know,
home.
and we leave it to where
It's a problem.
It's a problem back home.
I've heard.
We're builders. Like we build. We get involved in our community and make
Yeah.
like local trails, and we know
It's
about
not
those.
as easy.
It's super unfortunate. I've heard recently from a couple of my Canadian friends as well, who are saying that they're just like Hugh happy up there. Like they have one person who like won one lawsuit, and then now everybody's just trying to sue everybody up there, and it's ruining. You know, it's ruining the whole community and scene up there, which is just terrible. You know, and it shouldn't be like that.
For our sport,
you know, no, it's and it's like even those people in that situation, it's like, dude, come on, man. Like you knew what you were doing.
Exactly.
You knew what you were doing, and you messed up, and now you're trying to make somebody else, take care of your problems. And it's like, it's just it can't be that way if you want the sport to progress. And
Exactly.
But it's the unfortunate truth of of the world. There's always going to be people like that, and no matter what it is, no matter what kind of community,
for sure.
there's always people like that. But that's the cool thing here, though, is like they kind of got that figured out, and they just let you do whatever you want to do.
Sweet.
And I love that. I love that about this
C'est
place.
quoi la vision, mettons?
Yeah, for the mountain.
Long term. Like,
They have any like big any like vision like long term?
Yeah,
for the mountain,
I mean-
or they just want to keep going.
I mean, like the one that's been talked about, and that they've been working towards, and is like definitely the soonest thing that's going to change is they're going to have a village for the camps, which is pretty cool. So kind of like Woodward status.
Okay.
Where they're gonna have a village for the camp.
Is that like the construction that's going on here, or that's something?
No, that's something different. That's somebody who's capitalizing on the mountain being right
just
here.
charge some parking.
Yeah, no. So they're actually building like little like huts there,
To rent.
little pods to rent.
For us, like we're from Quebec.
Yeah.
It's hard to find something within 10, 15
That's
minutes.
the one thing.
Of
It's
a
difficult.
drive.
Yeah, there's things like 25 minutes. From
Yeah, that's
here.
usually what we get.
That's
Exactly.
usually what we got
There
lucky.
is
We got a
a
place
good
on
amount. Like, did you guys rent the A-frame right here?
We
or
rented on Shaker. It's about 7 minutes away.
Yeah.
The big farm?
Right there. Yeah. So that's a cool spot. Unfortunately, we used to have camping here, and
Yeah, I remember when we first came here. The first
it
time.
got rowdy.
Out of hand.
Yeah. I
It
guess
got
so.
out of hand. It got rowdy. It got to the point where you would have needed like 3 full-time security cars.
Sip
And
of
it's like,
sunshine, 8%.
if you need
man.
that, it's like you got sip of sunshine here, and Hellion, 7-8%ers just like ready to go all the time. Yeah, it gets a little rowdy. Unfortunately they had to snub that one. But yeah, it's cool because we do have a couple places like 25 minutes away. Not super close, but definitely a lot closer than the 4.5-hour drive for people coming from Canada. 8-hour drive. So there are places. But yeah, I think it's going to be really cool when they have these pods going in. Again, it's not with the mountain, but they're going to give you guys an opportunity. And then the camps, right now the camps, all the kids will stay at the Tilton School, the prep school. Again, during the summertime, there's no kids there, so they have dormitories and stuff. It's perfect. And that's about 10 minutes down the road. But to be able to have everybody on site will be really cool because these kids are going to be able to ride a lot more. They'll be able to, if they want to hang out in HCC, they can. Right now, it's like they have to leave by 6:30 or 7:30, and they got to get back and they got to eat and stuff. But once it's here, they're going to have pump tracks and stuff going around the camps and through the camps, and little dirt jump lines, like everything.
You guys are all in.
And it's all mountain bike. We're all in, and it's all mountain bike. Like they pride themselves on that. We pride ourselves on that. It's all mountain bike. There's no mountain coasters here, and no water park and stuff like that. So it's mountain biking.
Just mountain biking.
That's it.
crazy.
Dirt jumps, mountain biking.
Dirt jumps and mountain biking. We want the BMX guys here too. We got the dirt jumpers. It's just bikes.
It's pretty impressive, the dirt jump.
Oh yeah, I mean the Pirates Cove over there is pretty crazy. I mean they've got like a 9-foot lip step up at the end of it. I mean I double flipped that thing on my dirt jumper. We haven't gotten proof that anybody else has done it. So we think I'm the first one to double flip it on a dirt jumper, but I was also the first one to double flip it and fold my frame as well. I had done it like 2 weeks before, and then like 2 weeks later there was we had a comp on there. And in the best trick, I was like, screw it, I'm going to double flip it. And it had rained that morning, and it was running a lot slower than when I did it the first time. And I pulled, and right away I like spotted the first one, and I was like, I effed up. And I was like, uh-oh. And I just held on. I was like, all I can do is finish the rotation and push through, because I had the pull right, just not the speed. And I did the second flip. Right away, I saw the nose just pushing right in, and boom, and I folded the frame. Both the tires touched each other.
No.
Yeah, it was bad. It was bad. But you know, I got out of it completely okay.
Yeah,
completely
that's
fine.
What counts.
So yeah, you know, very thankful for that. You know, I've had a couple.
And today,
So today, Power Hour open today. Power Hour open today.
Yeah, Jacob did it.
Yeah, so it's running great. You know,
so nice.
I 3'd the first one, the first jump, and I was like, I'm gonna truck it. You know, let me throw the bars on it, and I popped, and I was like, I effed up again. So right away, I like ditched it and just tumbled, and I was like, okay, never mind. So I was like, all right, well, let me do something different. I found that the first jump was just not as lippy as I thought, and it was just a little small. On the big bike, it just rode a little weird for like that kind of trick. So I was like, all right, I'm just gonna tail whip it. So I was on my Stumpy Evo, Specialized Stump Jumper Evo. Got a 180 mil fork up front, 27.5. So I went up in travel and down in wheel size, and then 150, 27.5 in the rear like normal. But tail whipped the first one. Came around. They just built a new step down. They got rid of the.
Nice.
There was a
wood,
bones.
wood.
They got rid of the wood kicker there, and they put a step down, dirt step down, but it's soft. I had hit it a couple times, so I just stopped hitting it. So for now, I'm just gonna let it harden up. So I went around it. Hit the second step down, flipped the 35 footer or 30 footer, and then I was like, all right, like I'm gonna flip the like 35 40 footer. Flipped it, nice lofty, perfect, 2 tires. And I like stomped it down, boom, left crank came off. Just snapped my carbon crank off.
No.
Yeah, that happened like 2 hours ago.
Yeah, like is that there's a when we were going up in the trail, there was like a line in there. Did you go off to the right or something?
Yeah, no, I rode it. I rode it away. I rode it away. Like the dirt was from the truck driver. Like no, I stomped it. I got my GoPro footage. I'll show you guys. Like I stomped it, but I stomped it too hard and just left foot just hit the ground. Crank. I pushed my pedal and my crank into the ground. They stayed right where I landed.
No way.
Oh yeah, they stayed right where I landed. Yeah, it was so funny. But I just stomped it like right to the sweet spot. Like didn't case it or anything. But I mean, I put those cranks through the ringer. I was down in Costa Rica like a couple months ago riding at Fire Ride, and I had them on my dirt jumper. You know, I had a couple cases there. Definitely pretty mean, and those jumps were just big too. You know, like the last one was like 40 plus feet, and I was riding it on the dirt jumpers, like 3ing it. And I got the biggest 3 I've ever done, like 45-foot 3 on a dirt jumper. Yeah, just like having a good time. But I put those cranks on my stump jumper when I took my stump jumper to Reno to Cam Zink's Invitational, and I was ripping Cam Zink's Invitational, and surprisingly, I didn't actually really case anything there at all. But everything was massive. You know, everything's 40 feet plus, you know, so I put them through their paces, but they just didn't want to take, like, 3rd lap of the year this year on Power.
Like,
I was like, all right, time to flip them again, and just like.
So Power Hour opened today, and you decided, I'm going to 3 and flip everything on
Yeah,
on
3, tail whip, and flip everything. That was pretty much.
Start small, no?
No, I hit it one time. And then I hit it a second time to feel that new feature, and then that's when I realized, oh my gosh, it's soft as can be, and I like got sucked in. And then I was like, okay, screw that. And I was like, well, now I know the speed. And then 3rd time, I 3'd the first one, flipped the last 2, and didn't start the GoPro. I thought I did, so I was like, okay, I go back up then. And I was like, all right, well, you know, let me wait, because I saw right after that one, actually, a couple homies were going up the chairlift. I was like, yo, I'll wait for you guys. So I just started sessioning the first one, and I like 3'd it again, then I went to truck it, and that didn't work, and I was like, okay, never mind. And then I just like waited for the homies, and they're like, yo, you want a clip real quick? And I was like, sure. So I like just tail whipped the first one. I was like, screw it, and just like finish it out. Yeah, and then I just flipped it. And then flipped the last one and just stomped it, and the crank just went, dude. Sure. And just went. But yeah, I always try to pick up like where I left off, you know. So like again, like Hellion, it's like or just like what I've been working on, you know. So like this year, instead of like flipping it, you know, I was like, you know what, I'm gonna tail whip it. But like same thing here, I was like, well, let me make sure, see it runs, because it always runs a little different. So I was like, let me see how it feels. Normally I would just flip everything on power. Like last year I just flipped everything like first hits. But this year I was like, I want to like start doing tail whips and stuff. So I was like, let me try to get like the straight speed, because it's just a little different. And let me see what it actually feels like. But yeah, you know, I just hopped right back in the power, and like once I like realized how everything ran, I was like, let me just get back into it and just do what I normally do.
So what is a normal run down? So we saw you flip the first jump on Hellion. Not yesterday.
Yeah, that was a while.
Yesterday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You were there for that one. Yeah, the first jump on
Sunday.
On Sunday.
Yeah, the first jump on Hellion, I was just like, screw it, dude. It's like it's flat as can be, you know. But I was like, I know I can do it.
I mean, it's pretty big.
There's a gap there. There's just no height, you know. But but I was like, all right, I just pull. You know, I've done smaller flips. So I was like, so my thing with Hellion, I always find myself like getting all bummed because everything's like really mellow. Because it's a black trail. It's not a double black, and it's meant for everybody to ride.
And
so like, you know, I have to understand it. You know, so like I was like, screw it. Like okay, like let me just ride it then. Like. I know it's mellow, then like let me give it some more effort. Like if the lip's not going to do the work for me, let me do it. So yeah, I flipped the first one. Hellion, like a normal lap on Hellion, I'm just cruising. You know, like now I'm like started just flipping the first one to like make myself like happy from the start. You know, but like most of it's just like bar spins and cans, and I was throwing some tail whips on it yesterday and stuff as well. The spins and stuff are not really great on that because they're just pretty mellow, but there's quite a few other ones.
Because the big trails in we were talking about that earlier. Like the big trails in Highland, I mean, like it's a progressive opening, right?
Yeah.
So I personally, I'm not somebody that would hit power hour. He does.
Yeah.
But I also I'm looking at any style coming down, power hour, tombstone, and I'm thinking about guys like that ride like you guys.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it's cool that you guys have Hellion at the beginning of the year, but it's long before you get the next step.
So
right?
like my normal, like when everything's open, I have two different routes I'll go for warm up. It depends on like how I'm feeling that day. So if I feel like I need to wake up and actually like warm up, I'll go bone shaw first.
Yeah.
So dropping
it
the
keeps you
Hellion
on your toes
and going to bone shaw, because that I feel like is the best trail here for a little bit of everything, and it really wakes you up. You've got the switchback turns, you know, the windy turns. You got the technical drops, and then it ends off with like a 27-foot right hip into like into the tree gap, which you know I like the little roller through the trees. I flipped that thing a few times. I've done it on the little bike and the big bike now a few times.
I'm gonna stop you. Somebody told me once that Jarrell has either flipped everything on the mountain, or his goal is to flip everything. Yeah,
pretty much, man. Anything that
I heard you flip the bridge in any style.
I was the only person to flip the bridge on any style. So a buddy, I think only one buddy had flipped the bone shaw roller. So it was actually the first day I had got my new dirt jumper when I was with Evil. And the first day I brought it onto the mountain, I was like, I'm gonna go flip the bone shaw roller. And they're like, what? I was like, I'm gonna go flip the bone shaw roller. And like, I don't know why it was just in my head. First lap I had ever taken on that thing. I was like, I gotta do it. And I went, tested it, did it. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna go flip the any style bridge. And they were like, you're going to what? I was like, I'm gonna flip the any style bridge. They're like, okay, just look at it first. And I looked at it and like felt it, and I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna flip it. And they were like, no way, dude. And then greased it first try, like 2 tires, was perfect. You know, so yeah, like after that I was like, okay, cool. But you know, then I just kind of stopped riding that bike on the mountain. Started riding the big bike, and then I started doing some other things, and I did the same the bone shaw roller on that big bike. But this year, that's funny you say that, like that flipping that first one on Hellion was kind of like my like dipping my toes into like, you know, let's see what we can flip this year, because that one is weird. You know, it's like technical. It's like long and low and mellow. You know, again, you got to pull hard, but like don't want to pull too hard.
That's
and everything's, you know, it's technical. So I was like, let me see how like my skills are, because I've been flipping massive jumps lately, like at Zinks and stuff. But let me see if I still got it like that, and I do. So yeah, I definitely that's kind of one style that I have. You know, is I like to flip, and I like to flip things that most people don't.
That's
you know,
great.
so like,
cool.
I don't know. There's a couple I've eyed up that I'm like, I think it's possible.
Give us a scoop or what?
Well, I don't know, man. Like that one over there, I'm thinking like not that jump, but you know that drop.
The drop before it.
I think you could flip over the drop.
So that drop, I'm curious actually. Most guys pull it.
You can pull over. It's really rough though, because it's funny. That landing looks like it's like steep.
But it's
It's actually not. Like, so it's actually really rough when you land.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I mean, you know, full suspension.
Yeah.
As long as your crank doesn't snap off, you're gonna be fine.
Cranks,
you know.
bars.
But yeah, you know, things like that. I wanna see if I could pull it. You know, yeah. I've been working on the underflip. So like
I saw that. You showed me a clip yesterday.
Yeah, I got the underflips down. Yeah, over there.
That was pretty sweet.
What's an
Yeah.
underflip?
So
like a-
it's basically
like a rodeo. Sort of
it's
thing?
kind of like a barrel roll, but basically the goal of it is when you're upside down, your wheels are perpendicular with the direction that you're going.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're just coming up and you're like this, and then coming back like straight. So yeah, it's a pretty wild one, but they feel cool, and you can spot the landing for much longer.
Okay.
So it's pretty chill. It's just harder to do
'cause
like
you're like
I just like it's harder to do like tricks in it. So I haven't figured out how to bring like the bars and stuff to it, you know. But we will.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, so like you know certain features like that, I want to underflip it, and you know yeah we have fun out here. We got a couple plans, but
It's so big.
Next
I just
level.
always let it
Next
like.
level.
What's the month that everything's open year after year about?
I would say it's pretty safe to say that like end of July we typically have everything open. It's end of July.
July, August, September, October here
Yeah,
is when you're
yeah.
closed.
Yeah, that's the thing. When everything's
so
open,
for-
it's pretty much open till the end, though.
Right.
So that's the cool thing.
Right. Any style looks like it. Somebody said it's not that much work. I feel like it looks like it's a lot of work.
It is. It's a lot of work, and unfortunately, a lot of the wood features this year need a lot of work.
I saw that a
So,
couple
so
of
that's
times, yeah.
that's another thing too. Is
There's
like,
a lot of big rocks that look like they need to be like pushed in or covered over or whatever, taken out.
and then a lot of the wood is just like it needs to be replaced.
Yeah.
And yeah, that again is more than just slapping shovels.
Right.
Like you're now you got to think you're trying to get all this wood up to the top of a mountain.
Right.
And all these tools and everything like that.
yeah.
And then like you need an extra tool, you ran out of something, you got to come back down the mountain.
it's
Like so,
long-
yeah,
it's a
it's a
long
long
process.
process.
There's a lot of work being done on. It looks like is it they're trying to get better access to different things? There's a lot of branches that were being cut. and stuff
Yeah,
like that.
so I think a lot of it was they wanted to get more exposure on the mountain to allow people to actually see what it is that they're riding, or what people are riding, without having to blindly go down things they probably shouldn't.
Yeah.
You know, so there's a lot of people who will hop on to, you know, ODB, ODC, and they really should not, you know.
Yeah, like
if
the
you,
guy
Yeah, we saw
if
two
people,
people
if
yesterday.
you can't hit the 2-foot drop at the beginning of ODB,
shouldn't be there.
that's the easiest part of the trail. You should not be on it.
Right.
But again, you know, it's kind of hard when you can't see the rest of it.
Yeah.
So now that it's open, you can, you know, on busy
yeah,
days, you can
yeah.
see people going through it, and you
Yeah.
can hear, and you're like, oh, that's a lot of
that's it.
rock.
I didn't know
I'm not
that.
going that way.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they wanted, it was like a PR thing. They wanted people to be able to see it.
Yeah, because like
that's
the crazy section in ODB, like when you get to the bottom, then it turns to the
Yeah,
left.
90,
You couldn't
yeah.
see that before.
No, and
but
now
you can see it from the.
Now you can.
Yeah.
So yeah, they exposed it so people can see it a lot. You know. So for me, I was like a little sad at first because like slope style having tree coverage is kind of nice. You know, it's gonna ride a little different, but at the same time, it is what
for
it
the wind.
is. Yeah, the wind.
Yeah.
You know, but at the same time, like most slope style courses are fully exposed.
Right.
So it's just better training for when you go elsewhere. You know, because
Yeah,
if you're just used to riding a place that's perfectly, you know, nice dense woods on each side, no wind, only one direction. You know,
Yeah.
then like when you go somewhere where it's open, you're gonna be like, you know. So that was cool. Going to Reno. Reno was fully exposed, and I was happy that I was like comfortable riding that because at first I was like, whoa, you know, it's just windy. You ride in the morning and nighttime there pretty much. But yeah, you know, I got used to it and I got pretty comfortable with the wind and stuff. So I don't think I'll have too much of an issue, you know, when that comes. And now more people can see what's going on,
Yeah.
you know, rather than just being down at the bottom. It's one thing to see us doing all the tricks that we're doing from down bottom, but then being right there, it looks a
Yeah.
whole lot different when
for
you're
sure.
right next to us on the lift, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's your Instagram
It's-
for the people?
Yeah, my Instagram is Jerrell. It's JERRELL__ Webster, WEB.
We'll put the link on the podcast.
Yeah, yeah. Thank
Yeah.
you.
So, anyways, we're
You might get a bunch of French followers.
French followers. Yeah.
Dude,
I'm
I
sure you have
love
a
it.
bunch already, but
Yeah, I got quite a few that come, and I love riding with them. You know,
Yeah.
it's so fun and showing them new stuff, but it's cool because you guys all come with like different style because you guys ride different terrain and stuff up
exactly.
there.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just cool cool to see like the different styles of riding that come from up there. And you got a lot of talent up there as well, you know. So yeah, no, I appreciate that.
This
Thanks
was a
a
cool
lot.
episode,
Yeah,
man.
that was a very cool
I don't know if you have anything else you wanted to add or get in, but we
for taking the
appreciate that.
time.
you
Yeah,
came out.
no, I just if you haven't made it down the Highland, you know, definitely
Really.
get down
Get
here.
over here.
It's one of the funnest,
Yeah.
the funner episodes. that
Any
I've
day.
been
I mean,
to.
even if you don't have friends, man, come alone. You'll make friends.
Yeah, the community here is pretty cool. Like I
Yeah.
feel like, and like you wouldn't remember, but I feel like every time we come here, you're just like chill and say hi and how you doing, how's your day? Like let's even do a lap if you want.
Yeah,
Like,
I love it.
And I'm sure you're not the only one who's like that. Here.
No, that's the whole thing here. Is everybody's just here for the same reason, and that's just to have a good time. You know, and ride bikes, and like everybody rides at a different level. You know, so and that's the cool thing is like I love to ride with people who like they might not be able to hit power hour and stuff. You guys got cat's paw down? Yeah, let's go do cats. Like you take the lead. Like I'll take it at my own pace. You know, you guys do your thing. I'll be behind you. You're going a little slower. Cool. I'll be a little more jibby and pop and do bar spins and stuff. You want to racer it? Like let's go. That's the cool thing here is you don't have to have friends and you can make them like instantly first lap. Just anybody who's up there is willing to ride with you, and you'll find out. You know, first lap. You know, you're like, okay, yeah, we were like kind of same pace. They're like, oh no, like they're way better, or like they're too slow. And you sometimes you're like, all right, buddy, I catch you. I'm going this way. You know, and that's just how it is. Like it's just how it is. And other times you're like, oh, like yeah, sick, man. Like let's take some more. Yeah, no, that's the cool thing about this place, man. And I recommend coming here for
C'est
sure.
vraiment ouvert à tout le monde. Fait que gros bravo. Thanks a lot,
Thanks,
man.
Jerrell.
Yeah,
Thanks a
thank
lot.
you guys.
Very nice.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Bon,
We're back.
on est. Écoute, je sais pas si vous avez aimé ça. Oui, c'était en anglais. Mais, wow, le plan de base, quand on est venu ici, c'était pas nécessairement, il faut absolument qu'on tourne un épisode. On a tout amené,
Au cas où.
au cas où.
Ben,
Puis on a par hasard croisé Jarrell.
Ouais, c'est ça. On voulait
Je
tourner
l'ai
l'épisode.
apostrophé, j'ai dit t'as-tu 10-15 minutes à nous allouer? Finalement, clac, 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 ils viennent de nous déballer tout
Le
son
gars, il est
sac.
sharp, man.
Vraiment.
Pour vrai, il
Ah ouais.
parle bien. Il a des histoires à compter. Il aime ça.
C'est un naturel.
C'est un naturel. Puis, tu sais, moi, je l'ai croisé une couple de fois depuis une couple d'années. Toi aussi, l'année
Ouais,
passée,
à
tu
chaque
as
fois,
parlé.
il est vraiment.
Puis il est super smart.
Tu sais ce qu'il disait, juste le saluer si jamais vous venez ici, si vous voulez rouler avec lui, il est prêt, il va. Les locals ici sont vraiment ouverts puis sont 100% basic. Ils veulent juste faire du basic, puis ils sont all-in. C'est impressionnant comment il y a des camps de jour, training pour enfants, pour les pères, pour les. Tu sais, c'est vraiment là, il y a de tout ici, fait qu'on est vraiment impressionnés en ce
Puis,
moment.
que dire de son talent à ce gars-là? C'est, tu sais, pour vrai, là, tu sais, Jake, tu m'impressionnes fois 1000 dans la vie, mais de voir quelqu'un que ça fait 3 ans, qui fait du vélo puis qui back ses jumps.
C'est quand même insultant. là.
Mais
C'est pas
Bob,
insultant,
pour vrai,
C'est quand même insultant.
c'est ça le point. Ça fait 3 ans.
Ouais.
Puis là, on va mettre la vidéo qu'il nous a parlé tantôt quand il a fait ses 2 backflips, que son crank a cassé, puis son tail whip. Puis tu sais, moi, un tail whip, je savais pas c'était quoi jusqu'à temps que je vois son vidéo, puis j'ai compris qu'il faisait passer le il faisait tourner le Man!
Non, puis
C'est un
ça.
basic de montagne.
Ouais.
C'est sur
des
un
gros
jump
jumps, c'est
aussi.
sur les 30-40 pieds.
Ouais, c'est ça.
Ouais.
Ou ce qu'il dit, il nous a montré la vidéo, on va le mettre sur Instagram. Là, il va
Nous taguer.
nous
Le
taguer.
gars, c'est
Où est-ce que son crank a planté dans la terre
Avec sa pédale.
avec sa pédale. Ça a resté là.
Puis lui, il a continué.
Tu sais, puis vous avez vu, c'est un grand
pièces,
gars, là.
ouais.
Tu sais,
6 et
vraiment.
5.
Ouais. Fait que, tu sais,
C'est
C'est
cinq
quasiment
dans la
quasiment
clip,
6 pieds et demi.
je sais pas s'il roule des
C'est quasiment
XL,
6 pieds et demi, ça,
6 pieds et
Jake? C'est un galant mesuré,
C'est un
là.
grand-
6 pieds et demi,
Grand
ça.
garçon.
Ah, c'est un grand garçon pour virer ça à l'envers tout le temps.
Ouais.
C'est quoi la figure, Bob, qui nous parlait, la dernière affaire, là?
Underflip.
L'underflip.
Underflip,
ouais.
je connais pas ça.
Underflip, c'est ça. Ben, il l'a expliqué en anglais, là, mais c'est que dans le fond, c'est comme un mix entre un backflip et un whip. Quand tu flippes, à moitié de ta rotation, tes roues, si tu jumps par là, tes roues sont perpendiculaires au
À la
take-off
piste.
et au landing.
OK.
Fait que c'est vraiment, ça ressemble à quasiment un
Isn't it
backflip
like a
tourbillon de même,
60,
C'est pas
genre.
comme un rodéo.
C'est-
Ouais, c'est ça, j'allais dire, c'est pas un rodeo flip en.
Ah, non? Ça ressemble à ça?
Ouais.
Ben, peut-être pas. Là.
Ouais, genre, non,
Là, c'est
ben
pas
rodéo,
finalement.
en tout cas, whatever. Rodéo,
c'est-
me semble, c'est backflip 360.
Va voir
un
sur
backflip
Insta, là,
360.
tu vas voir c'est quoi.
Ouais.
La terminologie de
Un
freestyle, je la
underflip.
connais pas, mais je sais qu'underflip, c'est vraiment, il spin
Mais ça a été une entrevue.
Spin désaxé, dans le fond.
Ouais, ça a été une entrevue qui devait durer 10 minutes, qui en a duré 45, qui était
C'est super cool. Pour vrai, le gars, il est bon, il est fin, il est bon. Puis
il ne vit que pour du vélo. Il veut juste faire du vélo. Il
100%.
travaille ici, il est rendu gérant. Il part de loin. Son métier, c'était pas ça du tout. Mais il a touché la titille en dedans de lui. La titille, ça ne dit pas, mais la flamme.
Toucher une titille?
La flamme. Bon, ça va être encore dans les montagnes avec des pop-up puis
toucher la titille.
C'est hot parce que Jace, il sait pas encore, mais le prochain épisode qui n'est pas encore sorti.
Ouais, c'est juste les best-of. C'est juste les best-of de Jace.
Nous, on avait du contenu qu'on voulait tourner, enregistrer nos coups de cœur et tout ça, puis ça serait peut-être pour une autre fois ou ça serait peut-être même dans les mêmes épisodes, mais là, à un moment donné, il faut qu'on... la journée...
Là, on a beaucoup d'images sur les pistes. Prochain épisode, on va parler des coups de cœur, qu'est-ce qu'on a aimé, les clips, les objectifs,
nos objectifs
que j'ai atteints.
Ce qu'on a fait, ce qu'on n'a pas fait, peut-être, c'est...
Il y a une affaire que je pensais, ça faisait 1 an que je l'avais en tête. Puis les riders, je sais que les gens se reconnaissent quand je dis ça. Ça fait 1 an que j'y pense, puis je l'ai fait cette fois-là. Puis j'ai un autre slab que j'avais pas fait, que j'ai fait. Fait que je suis vraiment content, je vais en parler.
Mais est-ce que Jason, moi, on va en parler, là, tu sais, Jason est reconnu, mettons, là, si on regarde les decks de présentation de Party Lap, là, le surnom de Jason, c'est le Blue Lover, parce que...
Mais c'est plus ça, là.
Non, mais c'est ça, il a évolué. On l'a toujours mis comme le gars des pistes bleues, mais moi, j'ai suivi Jason pendant tout le week-end. T'es plus un Blue Lover, buddy, là. T'es pas mal un black comer. Tu sais, ça s'en vient. T'es beaucoup amélioré depuis 2 ans, je trouve. Là.
Ici, pour vrai, on a roulé hier puis aujourd'hui. Juste de hier.
On n'a pas roulé dimanche?
On a roulé dimanche, oui. Ça, c'est un coup de cabochon aussi.
Ah, c'était ça. C'était ça, le coup de cabochon, finalement, d'avoir essayé de monter en pédalant.
Hey, ouais.
On en parlerait dans l'autre.
Fait que là, on parle-tu du bike?
As-tu le droit de parler de ça?
Bien, en fait, avant de finir l'épisode, dans le fond, dans le prochain épisode, on a beaucoup d'images. Tu sais, si vous pensiez venir à Highland, attendez le prochain épisode, vous allez voir pas mal toutes les beaux features, les choses qu'on avait le goût d'essayer puis de vous montrer. Et ça va vous donner vraiment le goût de venir, je pense. Si vous aviez planifié un trip, là, planifiez-le comme il faut. On le rappelle, il n'y a pas beaucoup d'hébergement, puis vous avez fait une job solide de trouver quelque chose de proche. Ouais. On va vous mettre le lien pour cette place-là parce que si je me fie à nos soirées, il y a quelque chose dans l'air. Il se passe de quoi dans ce chalet-là?
On a les clips de ça aussi. Là.
Exactement. Le seul mise en garde, c'est Jason qui vous la donne. Il y a des tics. Il y a des tics dans les hautes herbes.
Pour vrai, en fait.
Pour vrai, il faut qu'on tourne notre épisode avec Frank, avec Nino.
Ouais, tout à fait.
Pour vrai,
mais le coup de cabochon...
Avec Frank, dans le fond, c'est juste pour le faire chier.
Ouais, juste pour le faire chier. Qui n'était pas là. Exact. Mais le coup de cabochon...
Bon.
Qu'est-ce qui s'est passé avec le rack?
Avec le rack à vélo, encore là, un rack toulé sur le toit. Moi, je montais ici tout seul. Bob, finalement, il dit, je veux pas, tu roule pas tout seul. Il a embarqué avec moi. J'ai mis son bike. J'ai montré que j'ai son Santa Cruz sur le top de la voiture. On s'en va. Rendu ici, ceux qui sont déjà venus à Highland, on monte une petite côte en sable et c'est bossé.
Ouais. C'est des breaking bumps à grandeur.
À grandeur, en montant.
De même.
Fait que là, c'est de gauche à droite. La pince du toulis qui tient le cadre. J'avoue qu'en partant, quand le Santa Cruz, de la façon qu'il est faite, ça se pince en haut du mounting du choc. C'est très haut. Fait que ta barre, là, au lieu de tenir le frame comme ça, est vraiment très, très haut.
Puis moi, j'aimais pas ça. Jason, il y a un wagon, un Volkswagen wagon, puis avec un toit, comment on dit ça? Panoramique. Puis j'ai passé une bonne partie de la ride.
5 heures. 5 heures. Non, mais ça bouge un peu, mais c'est quand même stable. Mais en montant ici, là, ça wavait de gauche à droite. Puis là, on est excité, on arrive, puis on entend « Pah! » Mais Colin! Le vélo à Bob, il pend de même. C'est pas compliqué. Il est comme ça.
C'est comme une pendule. Il est tombé chac sur la fenêtre.
Ça vite, ça pédale, ça vite. Ça a fait une graphine qui partira jamais. J'ai 2 pocs sur ma voiture que je lave aux 2 jours.
Ça va rouiller. Il y a des
pour vrai.
Vends-moi ça, cette
Tu sais,
chambre.
fait que ça tenait par les deux roues. Je suis content, le bike n'a pas tombé à terre. Mais quand même, ça a fait du dommage.
Si vous voulez un
Mais-
Volkswagen pas cher à faire
Un Volkswagen, comment ça s'appelle, là?
Un all-track.
Un all tracks, pas trop cher, pas regardant.
Il y a des
sa
exhausts en
peinture.
plus, ils sonnent.
Ah, des gros exhausts.
Fait que là, ça nous en vient
Mais le
avec
centre-
un panache rack. Ça ne serait pas arrivé. Mais le panache rack est sur le véhicule familial. J'ai 3 enfants, on a 5 bikes. Il est sur le familial. Celui-là, c'est ma voiture parce que j'ai des racks de toit. Donc, sur ce,
Mais mettons,
Sur
là,
ce,
le bicycle, est-tu brisé?
non.
Ah, OK.
Le
Parfait.
bicycle est
le
absolument
Santa Cruz, il est plus
Le Santa
solide
Cruz.
que le Volkswagen.
On remercie
Ouais,
les partenaires. Verso Microbrasserie, Ski Bike Lab, Rag Custom et Panache Rack. Merci à vous autres. Merci à tout le monde qui nous écoute.
Part 2 de Highland à
Ah,
venir
pardon,
dans quelques jours.
Yes.
Part 2.
Gardez ça sur 2 roues.
Regarde ça
Yes.
sur 2 roues. Merci.